Now at 9, the George Washington Carver Monument holds an African American Trailblazers presentation. Plus, the Carterville Christian Church brings back Food Truck Sundays. And the Sawdust and Sprinkles group spread early holiday cheer with Christmas decoration painting.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Thank you for joining us. This is your KOAM News at 9. I'm Jalen Banks. The park staff at the George Washington Carver Monument held a presentation about African American trailblazers. The presentation went over the lives of iconic African Americans in American history, including Booker T. Washington, Bessie Coleman, and more.
Dr. Charles Drew, he's also a fascinating guy. He was the one who first separated plasma out and was able to be stored, and which is now we go and give blood and it saves so many lives. So all of them, their stories are a huge part, are a huge part of our story, of our history and our culture.
The park staff holds free presentations about American history every 3 months. The deadline to dry stack your boat is quickly approaching at some marinas across the Ozarks. Madison Horner explains the importance of winterizing your boat to safely return it to the water next spring.
Port of Kimberly Marina staff want to make sure you enjoy your 2023 boating season, but it all starts with winterization. Maintenance manager Brad Blackwell says more than 300 boats have been winterized at its dry stack building so far. Boat experts say there are a few essential tools and products a boat owner may need for winterization, such as antifreeze, motor oil, fuel stabilizer, and oil filter. You should start by draining all antifreeze and excess water from the boat.
The lower units should be stored in the low position, the down position, to prevent ice from building up in the prop and possibly cracking the lower units.
Blackwell says covers should be secured to prevent water from pooling on top of the cover this season.
Batteries should be unhooked and, if possible, stored inside to prevent them from discharging over the winter months.
If you've got a boat that you're not using, get it on the list and get it done. Don't wait till the last minute, because everybody is slammed getting them done, trying to get it done before we get real bad weather.
Towboat US says a lot of times insurance companies won't cover any kind of damage that's done from freezing and breaking if your boat wasn't winterized properly.
And if you don't winterize it and you're relying on marine heaters, make sure if the power goes out, you're making phone calls to have somebody check on them, because it doesn't take long once the weather gets cold for damage to start happening.
Staff also encourage boaters to go through and clean out any food or drinks they might have had on board. Cans and water bottles can freeze and burst inside, creating a big mess.
All right, and we move to weather, and we've got a new face in here. Doug, what do you have for us?
Oh, I'm not that new, just usually not here on the weekends, but it turned out to be a pretty good day for us today. We had sunshine. 73 is where we topped out. 47 is where we started. Normal high is 62, so a good chunk above where we should be for this time of the year, and it's not bad out there. It's a little bit chilly. Most of us upper 50s to near 60 degrees once you get across northeastern parts of Oklahoma. We do have some mid and upper level clouds which are slowly increasing. There's a weak little wave to our south that is going to give us a lot of clouds as we head into the next couple days. As we go through the rest of the night, 54 by 11, down to 50 by 7 a.m., back to 58 by 10. Overnight low tonight, about 48 degrees. And if we look at this week, we have great temperatures the next few days. Rain chances Tuesday, maybe a few thunderstorms Thursday, and then a big cool down next weekend. So we're going to break it all down for you here in just a bit.
Carterville Christian Church held their Food Truck Sunday. The event had a multitude of food trucks and vendors. Before COVID, this was something that they were able to do regularly. Now that we are in the post-COVID era, they're wanting to get back to Food Truck Sundays once again.
Well, the inspiration of this started back, my son used to live in Austin, and being a food truck junkie myself, going down there and seeing the food trucks and seeing the interaction among the people who were waiting to eat, whether they knew each other or not, was really cool. And so when the food truck thing made its way this direction, we decided, hey, this would be a great opportunity for our congregation to spend time together and eat and enjoy themselves. And, you know, looking at Food Truck Friday in Carthage, and anytime there's a food truck event, it brings people together, and I think people have a good time doing it.
Food Truck Sundays was inspired by the city of Austin. The Sawdust and Sprinkles group is getting ready for the holiday season by painting Christmas decorations on hand-cut wooden boards. It allows local artists in the community to come together, create, and have some early holiday fun.
It's just a little bit more unique because it's all each piece is its own thing. And I think people, especially the girls that are back there now, I gave them a design. Not one of them looked the same at all, and they're comfortable enough because they've came enough that they know they can sit down and we'll walk through it. And they leave knowing that it looks like them. It reflects their personality and gets them out of their headspace or gets them away from that crazy home life. And I just take a lot of pride in that. I think it's a really neat experience to get to do that with a lot of other people from all walks of life.
Participants described the event as being therapeutic. The White House is on the defense after President Biden's comment on coal plants on Friday. Even a senator in the president's own party is criticizing the statement. Fox News correspondent Lucas Tomlinson is at the White House with more.
Coal is still responsible for 22% of the country's electricity. Speaking at a rally in California, President Biden threatened to shut it down.
It's also now cheaper to generate electricity from wind and solar than it is from coal and oil, literally cheaper. We're going to be shutting these plants down all across America and having wind and solar.
The White House quickly backtracking from those remarks, saying, quote, the president's remarks Friday have been twisted to suggest a meaning that was not intended. He regrets it if anyone hearing those remarks took offense. Many coal miners did take offense.
We built this country on coal. We won 2 world wars on coal. And now all of a sudden it's a bad word, and I don't understand why a complete party in the United States can't understand that.
Also taking offense, West Virginia's Democratic Senator Joe Manchin saying, quote, comments like these are the reason the American people are losing trust in President Biden. It seems his positions change depending on the audience and the politics of the day. Here's North Carolina GOP Senate candidate Ted Budd.
You know, that's shoving more of that agenda down people's throats, and that's not where they are. Look, if you want to produce energy, then you produce it here in the United States. If you produce or manufacture here, we're twice as clean as anywhere else around the world. You know, China's not going to comply with this.
President Biden will spend the last day before the midterm elections campaigning in Maryland. At the White House, Lucas Tomlinson, Fox News.
We now take this time to honor tonight's Forstate hero. Oscar Percy, an Iola, Kansas native, served in the Navy during World War II. He was stationed in both Guam and Hawaii. He was also an underwater demolition expert. To Oscar Percy, we thank you, our Forstate hero. Coming up, an antibiotic commonly used to treat bacterial infections in children is in short supply. An alert for parents with young kids. Amoxicillin, an antibiotic commonly used to treat bacterial infections, is in short supply. The FDA recently adding the medicine to its list of drugs that are currently experiencing shortages. Amoxicillin, specifically the oral powder for suspension, was added to the site last month. It's not immediately clear what is causing the recent deficit, but health officials say shortages can happen for many reasons, including manufacturing and quality problems, delays, and discontinuations. The agency is working closely with manufacturers to prevent or reduce the impact. Married folks under 55, check this next study out. It could just save you from a trip to the hospital. There may be a link between poor outcomes after a heart attack and a stressful marriage or committed partnership. The study examined more than 1,500 people between the ages of 18 and 55 who were treated for a heart attack at one of the 103 hospitals located in 30 states. A month after their heart attack, participants filling out a questionnaire titled the Stockholm Marital Status Scale, with scorings leading as absent, mild, moderate, and severe marital stress levels. The study's lead author, which was one of the co-authors, found a 12-item scale. The people who had severe stress levels scored lower in physical health and mental health, and those who with no or mild stress levels with severe stress levels are nearly 50% more likely to be readmitted to the hospital compared to those with no marital stress levels. The preliminary research is going to be presented to the American Heart Association's 2022 scientific sessions this weekend. A new study warns about the potential of danger of using non-stick pans. Researchers in Australia found that one surface crack on a pan coated with Teflon, a synthetic plastic, could release over 9,000 plastic particles, raising potential health concerns. Teflon is also considered part of the PFAS group of chemicals, which can take hundreds up to thousands of years to break down in the environment. A recent study suggests that drinking might help with weight loss. Researchers from Australia studied the data of more than 9,300 adults. They found that adding some high protein or healthy foods help drinkers consume fewer calories overall compared to those who don't drink at all. Foods like nuts, meats, fish, cheeses, raw veggies, and dips helped an overall lower calorie count. Eating leaner food sources helps satisfy the protein appetite with less non-healthy snack consumption that adds to weight gain. And Doug Henny joins us with a look at the forecast after the break. And later, companies may be enforcing tighter return policies.
Well, it definitely turned out to be a great day for us today. Temperatures warming up, or at least warmer than what we had yesterday, as it was kind of chilly, but we got sunshine back today. It felt fantastic. Looks great out there right now. Nice shot. This is Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. Of course, Indigo is just outside, right on the west side, outside of Seneca, Missouri. All right, look at our temps. Past 36 hours, chilly yesterday, only upper 50s for highs. We dipped back into the upper 40s, so at least our temperatures kind of held a little bit steady, and then quite a bit warmer today as we shot up into the mid 70s for afternoon highs, and then we're going to see fantastic temperatures as we go through the week. All right, Parsons sitting at 56, 52 at Graham, 57 in Pittsburgh. Monette checking in at 55 degrees. Most of us into the mid 50s. Here's 7th. Here's Rangeline, currently outside at 57. Northerly winds at about 10. Humidity is at 67%. Out the door in the morning, if you're getting up early, not extremely chilly, 50 at 6, 54 by 9, and we'll warm up to 61 by the noon hour. Now, we are going to have a lot of clouds as we go throughout the day, and you can see those clouds starting to increase, especially along and south of the I-44 corridor. So we are going to have mostly cloudy skies by morning, mostly cloudy skies as we go through the daytime hours tomorrow. Just this weak little wave to our south, but this will actually try to give us a few showers by the time we head into late tomorrow night and Tuesday morning. Besides that, not a whole bunch going on. If you look out toward the west, we do have our next storm system, which is brewing. That's going to roll in by Thursday. Until then, it's pretty calm. All right, look at the clouds increasing. So we're going to stop at 6:30 in the morning, kind of a northeasterly wind, upper 40s to near 50 degrees. A lot of clouds through the morning. We can't rule out a random sprinkle. Mid 60s by the noon hour, and then once we get into the afternoon, we're going to kind of hold into the mid 60s. Not quite as warm as what we had today, but still turning out to be a pretty good day. A lot of clouds continue tomorrow night. We'll stop at Tuesday morning. Few little showers trying to get going. Kansas, northeastern Oklahoma, a few scattered showers, especially on the Kansas side. These are going to be very hit and miss, not widespread rain by any means, just some hit and miss showers. So here's 10 a.m. on Tuesday, and then by the noon hour, they start to lift north and out of the area, and we start to warm up a little bit more as we go into lower 70s for highs, but still kind of a lot of clouds sticking around all the way into Wednesday morning. So your day planner for your Monday, 50 in the morning, 61 by noon. You can see a lot of clouds during the afternoon, 62 at 5. I think our high, most of us will make it up to about 67 as we get into the afternoon. Very low chances tomorrow. These are just little sprinkles, but you can see our chances go up a little bit late tomorrow night, and then as we head into Tuesday morning. 67 on Monday, 72. You're voting Tuesday. Again, a few random showers, not a huge deal. Near 80 on Wednesday. A chance for thunderstorms moving in by the time Thursday rolls around. So we're going to have to keep our eyes on that system. And then look at this, quite a bit cooler as we go into the weekend. Highs only into the 40s, overnight lows into the 20s. So next weekend is going to be significantly cooler than what we have seen over this past weekend. But at least this week, temperatures pretty good.
Yeah, those look beautiful. I'm going to be out in the field reporting on Tuesday. So fingers crossed as, keeping those showers away from me as I'm out reporting.
Yeah, and it's voting Tuesday. We want people to get out and vote.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, thank you, Doug.
Yep.
And coming up, we take a look at the current state of the Powerball lottery.
Sign up. So
make sure your loved ones like your holiday gifts this year. because return policies are getting more difficult. Retailers are making changes in their return policies as inflation continues rising expenses, and some may even charge you fees to bring back items, even if mailed. Some stores like Old Navy, Gap, Banana Republic, and others reduced their return window to within a month. The National Retail Federation says approximately 18% of products sold in the upcoming holiday shopping season are likely to face return issues. If you're feeling lucky, and even if you're not, you might consider buying a Powerball lottery ticket. An estimated $1.6 billion is up for grabs in yesterday's Powerball drawing. It is the largest lotto prize in history. But bear in mind, the odds of winning are about 1 in 292 million. If you do happen to win, you might choose the lump sum option of an estimated $800 million $4 up front. Powerball tickets cost $2 and are sold in 45 states, the District of Columbia, Puerto Rico, and the U.S. Virgin Islands. New Twitter CEO Elon Musk walking a tightrope in his first days at the helm as he tries to balance concerns from advertisers with promises to protect free speech. Fox Kevin Uritsky has that story.
Just over a week into Elon Musk's tenure at Twitter, it's still unclear what kind of platform it will be under his watch. Friday saw the biggest changes yet at the social media giant after the company laid off nearly half of its workforce. Employees learning of the development via a mass email.
I found that my work laptop was remotely wiped and access to Slack and Gmail revoked.
Musk has vowed to loosen the platform's restrictions on speech, but it's still unclear exactly what that will look like. More than a dozen advocacy groups have written an open letter to Twitter's top 20 advertisers, asking them to put their deals on hold or pause until Musk clarifies what changes he plans to make.
This doesn't seem right because we've made no change in our operations at all. Moderation rules and hateful conduct rules have not changed, and we're continuing to enforce them.
The New York Times reports that Musk's planned changes to verified users won't come until after the midterms. Musk wants to charge those users a monthly fee for the privilege of that blue check mark, an idea that's gotten a mixed reception.
These famous people, they could still just use it and not have the check mark.
Buying a verification seems absurd to me because it is like against the point of a verification.
It's possible that Twitter could fail if Musk makes the kinds of changes that pushes a lot of people away.
Kevin Uretsky, Fox News.
Next, find out how much one Superman suit was sold for. An iconic superhero movie costume from the 1970s hits the auctioneer gavel and goes for a tidy sum. The Superman costume worn by late actor Christopher Reeve in the 1978 film by the same name has sold at an auction for $350,000. The complete outfit contains a tunic, cape, belt, pair of trunks, leggings, and boots. The stretchy blue nylon material is also custom woven and has the classic Superman S and shield on the chest and tunic. Prop store auction, the costume seller says it's in good condition, although there were aging and some minor wear issues by the costume, and the buyer was unidentified. And that's a look at the first 30 minutes of your KOAM News at 9. More news, weather, and sports after the break.
Come play.
Now at 9, the George Washington Carver Monument holds an African American Trailblazers presentation. Plus, the Carterville Christian Church brings back Food Truck Sundays. And the Sawdust and Sprinkles group spread early holiday cheer with Christmas decoration paintings.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Thank you for... The park staff at the George Washington Carver Monument held a presentation about African American Trailblazers. The presentation went over the lives of iconic African Americans in American history, including Booker T. Washington, Bessie Coleman, and more.
Dr. Charles Drew, he's also a fascinating guy. He was the one who first separated plasma out and was able to be stored, and which is now we go and give blood and it saves so many lives. So all of them, their stories are a huge part, are a huge part of our story, of our history and our culture.
The park staff holds free presentations about American history every 3 months. Carterville Christian Church held their Food Truck Sunday. The event had a multitude of food trucks and vendors. Before COVID, this was something that they were able to do regularly. Now that we're in the post-COVID era, they're wanting to get back to Food Truck Sundays once again.
Well, the inspiration of this started back, my son used to live in Austin, and being a food truck junkie myself, going down there and seeing the food trucks and seeing the interaction among the people who were waiting to eat, whether they knew each other or not, was really cool. And so when the food truck thing made its way this direction, we decided, hey, this would be a great opportunity for our congregation to spend time together and eat and enjoy themselves. And, you know, looking at Food Truck Friday in Carthage, and anytime there's a food truck event, it brings people together, and I think people have a good time doing it.
The idea for Food Truck Sundays was inspired by the city of Austin. The Sawdust and Sprinkles Group is getting ready for the holiday season by painting Christmas decorations on hand-cut wooden boards. It allows local artists in the community to come together, create, and have some early holiday fun.
It's just a little bit more unique because it's all, each piece is its own thing, and I think people, especially the girls that are back there now, I gave them a design. Not one of them looked the same at all, and they're comfortable enough because they've came enough that they know they can sit down and we'll walk through it, and they leave knowing that it looks like them. It reflects their personality and gets them out of their headspace or gets them away from that crazy home life. And I just take a lot of pride in that. I think it's a really neat experience to get to do that with a lot of other people from all walks of life.
Participants described the event as being therapeutic. With control of Congress up for grabs, candidates are putting the pedal to the metal on the campaign trail, leaving nothing to chance in the final hours as these midterm races approaches. Fox News correspondent Lucas Tomlinson has that story from the White House.
With just 2 days to go before Election Day, candidates are in an all-out dash to get out the vote and sway any remaining undecideds. This weekend has seen 4 presidents hit the campaign trail to rally voters, trying to remind Americans what's on the line.
Truth and facts and logic and reason and basic decency are on the ballot. Democracy itself is on the ballot. The stakes are high.
If you want to stop the destruction of our country and save the American dream, then this Tuesday you must vote Republican in a giant red wave.
Midterm elections historically favor the party that's not in power. Republicans are predicting big wins based on the current state of the economy and President Biden's lackluster approval rating.
We have great candidates. People are showing up to vote. There's no energy on the Democrat side. This election is about the Biden agenda.
While Democrats appear to be facing an uphill battle, they're optimistic about their chances, reminding voters about the GOP's track record on abortion rights and January 6th.
I think this race is razor close, and I think everybody who cares about the extremism in this MAGA movement, the racism, the anti-Semitism, the violence, needs to get out and vote.
Millions of Americans have already voted. The numbers point to a record-setting turnout. At the White House, Lucas Tomlinson, Fox News.
Next, the current challenges Kyiv is facing. More Russian attacks are hitting Ukraine amid warnings about the energy situation in the country after recent Russian assaults on the power grid. Officials this weekend are warning of stepped-up emergencies and indefinite blackouts of power. Fox News correspondent Greg Palko is in Kyiv with the latest.
When night falls here in Kyiv, the latest front in the Ukraine war is revealed. Amid Russian attacks on the electric grid here, energy conservation, power outages, blackouts, darkness.
500,000 people without power in Ukraine's capital this past week, 5 million nationwide, more shutdowns announced. Civilian infrastructure hit by Russian missiles and drones as Moscow's battlefield progress slows.
Militarily, it is absolute nothing, but yes, that can cause a lot of suffering for civilians.
Most of the power plants of Ukraine's biggest private utility damaged nearly half of its power lines, which workers race to repair. A sign of dangerous times, the company's CEO has to speak with us in a bomb shelter during an air raid alert.
We have no choice to defend our country and to find a solution to keep lighting on, keep this country being heated, and keep our people in the country to fight.
Utility CEO Tim Chanko warns us of a humanitarian catastrophe if Ukraine can't get a handle on these Russian attacks. They have their hands full. In Kyiv, Greg Palkot, Fox News.
A concerning new report from UNESCO says major glaciers around the world will be gone by 2050. The UN agency says its research indicates the bodies of dense ice will melt even if global greenhouse gas emissions are reduced. And that means the glaciers on Mount Kilimanjaro in Tanzania and Alaska and Yosemite, as well as Yellowstone parks in the U.S., among others, will be history in less than 30 years. UNESCO officials say their report is a call to action. They say only a rapid reduction of carbon dioxide levels worldwide can save both the glaciers and the living things that depend and survive on them. North Korea once again raising tensions in Asia with more missile tests this week. The U.S. and South Korea running drills in response to the latest show of force. Fox News correspondent Kitty Logan has the latest.
North Korea has launched 4 more ballistic missiles into the sea as tensions continue to run high in the region. South Korean officials confirmed 4 short-range missiles were fired at around midday local time. North Korea has test-fired over 30 missiles this week alone, including an intercontinental ballistic missile last Thursday. The launches are thought to be in response to a joint US and South Korean military exercise involving over 200 warplanes. US and South Korean fighter pilots training side by side, and there were more B-1 bombers taking part in a flyover in the skies over South Korea as those exercises were extended on Saturday in response to the missile launches from the north. North Korea claims these latest missile tests are what it calls an appropriate response to the exercises, blaming the US for what it says is destabilization in the region. But North Korea's missile tests have accelerated at an alarming rate. There were 20 tests in just one day last Wednesday. In London, Kitty Logan, Fox News.
And Doug Hetty returns with another look at the weather after the break.
Well, it definitely turned out to be a great Sunday for us today. We warmed up a little bit more than what we did see yesterday. Temperatures into the 70s for highs. Looks pretty good right now. We're looking at Indigo Sky Casino and Resort, of course, Indigo just outside of Seneca, Missouri. We have some clouds which are starting to thicken up, but overall, it turned out to be a great day. Pretty good weekend. It was a little bit chilly yesterday as we kind of stuck into the upper 50s. And then we dropped back into the upper 40s last night. But look at this today, all the way up into the mid 70s during the afternoon. So it turned out to be a great day. Temperatures right now, most of us mid 50s, 54 in Carthage, 56 in Veneta. Chanute is sitting at 57. We can go outside, 7th and Rangeline, currently sitting at 57. Northerly winds at about 10 to 20 at times. Humidity is at 67%. Out the door in the morning, it's not that cool. At 6 a.m., 50, 54 by 9 a.m., but we are going to see those clouds kind of increasing really tonight into tomorrow. You can see those mid and upper level clouds across the region right along the I-44 corridor. There's a weak little wave just to our south, and this could give us a random shower or two by the time we head into tomorrow night and into Tuesday as it gets a little bit more tropical moisture. Besides that, not a whole bunch going on out toward the west. You can start to see the beginnings of our other storm system that will affect us later on in the week on Thursday. So clouds increase tonight. We can't rule out a random sprinkle as we go through the morning hours. Here's the noon hour, sitting mainly low to mid 60s. We'll warm up only to about 66 or 67. Not quite as warm tomorrow just because we're going to have more clouds. 64 in Stockton, 68 in Miami, Parsons up to about 66. Tomorrow night, especially late, we may get a few random showers getting going. Kansas down through northeastern parts of Oklahoma. These are going to be light. These are going to be hit and miss. Here's 10 a.m. on voting Tuesday. We are going to have some hit and miss showers out there, especially in the morning into the early afternoon. Then these will lift north, and it looks like late Tuesday evening, it looks pretty good. A little bit warmer. We go into the 70s. For afternoon highs on Tuesday. All right, 50 in the morning, 61 by noon, 62 by 5. A lot of clouds tomorrow. High temp, 67. Rain chances, again, maybe a sprinkle tomorrow, but then they'll start to creep up a little bit tomorrow night, and then as we get into Tuesday morning. Let's look at the rest of the week. Wednesday looks great, upper 70s, so it's going to be really warm. I still think we'll go well into the 70s on Thursday, but here comes our next front. This is going to roll in Thursday night, giving us some showers, even a few thunderstorms, and then drastically cooler behind this. Look at Friday. We don't get out of the 40s, and then Saturday morning down into the 20s, and then we stay in the 40s for highs again on Saturday. So it does really cool down as we head into the weekend. 67 tomorrow, 72 Tuesday. Near 80 on Wednesday. We'll push record highs. 75 Thursday, and then a high of only 50 on Friday. The weekend looks dry, but it's going to be chilly. Some cold nights down into the 20s. 48 Monday. Rain chances in again by next Tuesday.
Yeah, hopefully with those rain chances we can finally break that drought that we've been in.
We've been putting some big dents in it.
Yeah, absolutely.
We need to get rid of it.
All right, well, sounds good. Thank you, Doug.
Yep.
And coming up in sports, the Missouri Southern women are back on the floor in Kansas City. Plus, Pitt State's Mark Whelan played a big role in the Gorillas' win on Saturday. We'll hear from him next.
Unite.
The Missouri Southern women made a statement in their season opener, beating 23-ranked Lubbock Christian on Saturday. Today, the Lions are back in action in Kansas City. Southern faces Minnesota Duluth this afternoon. The Lions grind out another big win, 54-51. Lacey Stokes scores 13 points and gets 3 steals. Maddie Stokes adds another 13 points with 8 rebounds. The Kansas City Chiefs are home this evening, facing the Tennessee Titans in primetime. Both teams entered the game with a 5-2 record. The Titans have won 5 straight. They're up 17-9 right now in the 4th quarter. McCole Hardman has the touchdown for the Chiefs. The Pitt State Gorillas claimed the MIAA title on Saturday, beating Washburn 37-23. It was an extra special day for wide receiver Mark Whelan. Whelan led the Gorillas with 72 receiving yards and scored his first touchdown of the season. Prior to Saturday's game, he had just 1 reception. Whelan also earned the game ball for his performance.
It felt great. I just wanted to help my team. I've been waiting on my moment, and it finally came. I know I had it in me, and I got great teammates that kept reminding me that my time's going to come, and they've been helping me keep my head on. And it's been hard, I'm not going to lie, with not playing, but it finally came.
It couldn't happen to a better human being either. He's an outstanding kid and has a great story, and we're so excited to have him here before he did all of that, and then so happy for him to go out and perform like he did today.
Kansas picked up a huge win over 18-ranked Oklahoma State on Saturday. It's their first win over a ranked opponent since 2010. The Jayhawks beat the Cowboys 37-16. Devin Neal had a monster game. You have to listen to these stats. 224 rushing yards and a touchdown, and 110 receiving yards. The win makes Kansas bowl eligible for the first time since 2008.
I'm really proud of them and happy for them, you know, especially when you look at the guys that have been around a long time and everything that they've kind of gone through. They persevered, they stayed with this program. You know, we're pretty demanding and things, and there's a reason why we are is for moments like this. And we still have 3 games we got to get ready to play, and that's one of the things we talked about is that this isn't over, okay? But the cool thing is that we get to be around each other longer, and a lot of these guys have no idea what that's really about.
The MIAA Cross Country Championships took place this Saturday. Missouri Southern hosted this year's event. The Southern men are the conference champions. Gideon Kumutai won the individual title, running the 8K race in 23 minutes, 38.19 seconds. It's his 3rd MIAA championship. Ryan Riddle came in 2nd. Nebraska Kearney placed 2nd as a team, and Pittsburgh State finished 3rd. Matthew Oglesby crossed the finish line in 3rd place, with teammate Diego Contreras behind him in 5th. On the women's side, the Gorillas win the title. They had 3 athletes place in the top 5. Gentry Alderson came in third, Laura Murdoch in fourth, and Marissa Dick in fifth. Pittsburgh State has now won 4 of the last 5 conference titles. The Nebraska Kearney women placed second as a team, while Missouri Southern came in 6th. That's a look at sports. We'll be right back.
Here's a day a lot of us will be lined up for to celebrate, and today marks National Nachos Day. Nachos have variations to it, but in its basic form, they're tortilla chips covered with nacho cheese, queso, or another melted cheese served with salsa. The snack's origin supposedly dates to 1943. Credited to an employee of a restaurant in Mexico, Ignacio Nacho Anaya. One night after the kitchen staff had left, he served his creation to a group of U.S. Army wives who had stopped by. The dish was such a hit, the customers named the snack Nachos Special. Word got out fast, and the rest is history. Nachos are enjoyed in all types of settings and are certainly a popular snack watching for sporting events. This year, what better way to celebrate as National Nachos Day falls on an NFL Sunday? And with that, the Kansas City Chiefs are down 17-9, and I hopefully they can come back, and hopefully you're eating and watching the game with some nachos. And that's it for now. We'll see you right back here next week. Thank you for making us part of your night.